Ever since the reveal of Spongebob Squarepants coming to Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which is a sentence I didn't think I'd be saying in 2025, Sonic Twitter has been having a heated discussion over the Sonic Racing Crossworlds roster, saying things like how the crossovers are ruining the entire roster, or Sonic can't carry a racing game by himself, or we didn't ask for these crossover characters, or this is just dangling keys and a cheap way to get more people to buy the game. As someone who is the strongest soldier for Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, I am not going to allow y'all to pull this switch up. Are we going to pretend and forget that one of the main reasons people didn't like Team Sonic Racing was the fact that they got rid of the Sega Crossovers, which, you know, was a big part of the first two kart racers? I talked about this in my previous video discussing Sonic Racing Crossworlds, that the crossover aspect was part of those games' identity. They were celebrations of Sega's older IPs all coming together for this one big kart racer. That's what made it special compared to Mario Kart, which wasn't doing anything like that at the time before vanilla Mario Kart 8. So when we got Team Sonic Racing back in 2020 and it was just Sonic characters, no more Sega characters or other crossover characters, people were disappointed by the roster. So now we have them back for Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and now people are upset about the fact that we have crossovers when, like,
you just asked for specifically that.
Now people are saying this is a cheap way to try and get more people to buy the game, and this is just dangling keys, when Sonic Team has been doing this since 2006 with Sonic Riders 1, where we had Knights, I and Ooh La La as guest characters in that game, and then in Zero Gravity we had Billy Hatcher, Knights, and Amigo as guest characters. Now all of a sudden it's a problem that we have these guest characters now? Why is this suddenly a problem when Sonic is doing crossovers? When, again, he has been doing this for a long time now. Where was this outcry when Mario Kart 8 had Link, the Villagers, and the Inklings? Does that get an excuse because the Wii U was failing? What about when Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled had the Spyro characters get into the game? Where was the outcry for those characters? Why does that game get a pass? Why does it become a problem now when Sonic is doing the thing he's been doing for a long time now? Then the conversation shifts to people being disappointed or straight up don't like the crossover characters that we're getting. Specifically, the paid DLC ones. It's Minecraft and 3 Nickelodeon packs, which, you know, Paramount owns Nickelodeon and Paramount is responsible for the Sonic movies, so it makes sense why we have these Nickelodeon packs, but not everybody likes these Nickelodeon shows, and also not everyone likes Minecraft. I certainly don't like Minecraft. Now, I don't have an issue with people being disappointed about the characters that we're getting, because again, not everyone are fans of these specific IPs. I will say this: I think it's great that we're having these characters in the game, because all of these properties are huge. Like Minecraft, massive in the gaming world. SpongeBob, a cartoon icon. Same with the Ninja Turtles. Hell, even Avatar is at legendary status. And those 3 Nickelodeon properties are like childhood loves of mine. I mean, I loved early SpongeBob. I love TMNT, specifically the 2000s version. And then Avatar, not Korra, just specifically Avatar The Last Airbender. I love it. So me personally, I'm happy with this pack. If none of these properties interest you, then that's okay. You can just completely not buy them. And even if you don't buy them, you are still getting a lot of content from the fact that we're getting free DLC characters, which are not only going to be Sega characters, but they could potentially be also Sonic characters and other characters that are from Sega's partners. So you're still getting a lot of new characters coming into the game, even if you decide to skip out on buying the season pass. Then the next complaint from people are, apparently the base roster of Sonic characters is too barren, which, do we really have to go back and explain why Team Sonic Racing's roster was awful? Because we can do that. How about the fact that Team Rose didn't even have Cream because Cream was replaced by the Chows? How about the fact that they randomly threw Vector in a team with Silver and Blaze where it made no sense when he could have had Charmy and Espio on his team? Which, funnily enough, this is the second time that they've done something like this. How about the fact that they keep putting Zavok in these games when nobody likes him, but they just keep forcing him down our throats? How about the fact that the Babylon Rogues aren't in a game where teams is an important factor, where it would have made the most sense to have them? This is what we lost the Sega IPs and other crossover characters for. This pathetic roster that doesn't even have all of these substantial characters from the game universe. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is rectifying that mistake. Now, do we really need Zavok, Zaz, and an Eggpon to be in this roster? No, but Sonic Team felt that they were important enough to be there. But we have 24 Sonic characters for the base roster, which is already more than any of the crossover characters that we're going to get. Now, when people say that the base roster is barren, they really mean that they're upset that they don't have the niche or deep cut characters like Mighty, Ray, Marine the Raccoon, Mephiles, or even Tangle and Whisper. And you know what? Would it be cool to have these characters in the game? Sure, but are they necessary? Not really. I think Tangle and Whisper are more likely to have a chance in this game as a free DLC since they are part of Sega's partners with IDW. We got all the recurring characters that are usually in these Sonic spin-off games, so I think we're good here. But it would be cool to have these characters. I'm not against the idea of having them, but I don't think the roster is barren just because we don't have them. Again, we've had way worse. And then I think the dumbest thing I've heard is this game is called Sonic Racing Crossworlds, not Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, so we shouldn't have these crossover characters. And like, really? Are we really doing this? Like, do we have to go back to Sonic Riders and call that Sonic and Sega Riders because we had Sega characters in there? Or do we have to go back and call Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Mario Nintendo All-Stars 8 Deluxe because it had Nintendo characters in it? What about Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel? Did that now have to be called Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel featuring Spyro the Dragon? Like, you know how ridiculous that kind of sounds? The game is called Sonic Racing Crossworlds. They're crossing over to other worlds. Why should they just restrict themselves to going over to other zones across the Sonic series? You know, why not cross over with other IPs like they've done before? Why should they have to restrict themselves? It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that was my little rant about this entire crossover in Sonic Racing Crossworlds discourse that I just found very ridiculous, and I just wanted to vent out and get my thoughts out there. I'm excited for Sonic Racing Crossworlds. My opinion on the game has shifted to be more positive. I still have some worries, but I think I'm definitely going to buy the game when it arrives in September. I'm overall happy with the roster and what we're getting, and I'm very excited to see what those last 2 DLC packs might be, as well as what other free characters that we're going to get. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and comment below what you thought about it. And if you're interested in seeing more of my videos, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification for my next upload. I hope you all have a good day and stay away from Sonic Twitter.